Growing up, I understood the Democratic Party was the good guys. They cared about the poor and less fortunate, including the homeless. They helped individuals and families when they were financially down by advocating for social service programs and strengthening the social safety net. They extended their hand to help people get back on their feet. They spoke for disenfranchised groups, the voiceless, who were constantly attacked by the system and discriminated against in all facets of society, in the job market, in the workplace, in healthcare, in education, etc. The Democrats were the party that fought to close the gap between the financially wealthy and the working poor. They were also anti-war. Maybe it was all the valiant and righteous Vietnam War protests and demonstrations imagery, but as a kid I imagined the Democrats as being anti-war. There wasn't ever a war the Democrats liked, and they would fiercely fight back against the pro-war, bloodthirsty Republicans on every aspect of wanting to continue the military-industrial complex. The Democratic Party was also relatively inclusive, representing the nation's demographics, including people of all races, ethnicities, religions, nationalities, disabilities, sexual orientations, ages, economic classes, etc. The proudest moment I've ever felt as a Democrat is one that many Democrats felt at the time.
It is now 11 o'clock in the East. It is 8 o'clock in the West. The polls are closed in those states. ABC News is now ready to project that Barack Obama will carry the state of California, carry other states in the West. Barack Obama will be the 44th president of the United States. Barack Obama has been elected president. And I would just say, thinking about this moment, that's the reaction out in Times Square. ABC News ready to project Barack Obama will be the next president of the United States.
For me, Obama's campaign and ultimate political victory was about multiple things. It was a break from war criminal George W. Bush and the political establishment. Obama was relatively new, fresh, and young, with no history of political corruption and terrorism like the Bushes and Clintons. Obama also campaigned on hope and change, a new face and trajectory the country would walk down that disconnected it from its disastrous and terrorist American past. It also didn't hurt that he was significantly more intelligent than his predecessor. He was elected the first black president of the Harvard Law Review in the spring of 1990, was not a Nepo baby like Bush, had humble beginnings working with the people as a community organizer, which he was mocked for at the time, and oh yeah, was going to be the first black man ever to hold the position. This is a video I've wanted to make the day after the 2024 election for both evident and unobvious reasons. Losing an election badly as the Democrats have in 2024 is one thing. They lost the electoral vote, they lost the popular vote, they lost all 7 swing states, they even lost the blue wall. There was not one state out of 50, even in Democratic strongholds like California, New York, Massachusetts, etc., that did not see Democratic support atrophy in favor of an unpopular orangutan with the vocabulary of a third grader. Trump was so unpopular that even after 2 alleged assassination attempts, his poll numbers did not go up. Losing an election badly as the Democrats have in 2024 is one thing. Losing an election badly while espousing abominable and deplorable values and policies is another. Harris refused to isolate herself from despised and disgraced Jim Crow Joe Biden. Her views on the genocide/ethnic cleansing of Palestinians at the hands of America's dog in the Middle East, Israel, were identical to that of Biden. When begging for donations from voters, her campaign was later exposed as having ignored those voters who were concerned about Gaza, marking them as, quote, no response, which signified that her and her campaign rarely addressed the matter with concerned voters. When the black community wasn't too enthusiastic to support Harris because they felt their needs weren't being adequately addressed, they got a finger wagging from Barack Obama and a lecture about how black men weren't, quote, sufficiently supportive of black women.
Because you think that's a sign of strength? Because that's what being a man is? Putting women down? That's not acceptable.
A few days later, the Harris campaign put out a tardy agenda for black men that was so underwhelming and unsatisfactory that it was almost insulting. Adding to this, she didn't run a progressive or leftist populist campaign that addressed the flawed capitalist economic system and how it worked against the people for the uber wealthy, including corporations. She did the opposite. Tony West, her brother-in-law and Uber's chief legal officer, advised her to tame her critiques of corporations to win over CEOs. Mark Cuban stepped in as a surrogate to the Harris campaign to assure big business and CEOs she wasn't against them. No, instead of running a progressive or leftist populist campaign, she opted for an often failed center-right, quote, reach across the aisle political campaign that included slogans like, quote, country over party. She was often campaigning with Liz Cheney, the like-minded daughter of neoconservative, war profiteer, and war criminal Dick Cheney, whose evil legacy Liz Cheney has defended since. At rallies, Kamala cringingly hollered about giving far-right fascists, quote, a seat at the table.
Because you see, unlike Donald Trump, I don't believe that people who disagree with me are the enemy. He wants to put them in jail. I will give them a seat at the table. That's what real leadership looks like. That's what strong leadership looks like.
The level of hostility that these, quote, moderate, unquote, center-right Democrats show leftists and progressives while courting far-right freaks who despise them will never vote Democrat and constantly ranting online about wanting to fight a civil war against them is indicative that the Democratic Party is not fit to be in power, let alone is worthy of my vote. And it's not just me. They're not worthy of your vote either. That's why I left the Democratic Party and encourage you to leave them too. The Democrats are the Republicans. I've always said that the Democrats are evil, the Republicans are more evil. Voting for the lesser of two evils is still voting for evil. Both are hyper-capitalists, both don't give a damn about the ballooning homeless population in this country or the working poor. Both aren't doing a damn thing to pay the debt of reparations to descendants of black slaves in this country. Both are pro-corporations and put their needs and interests above the American people's. Both are pro-military industrial complex and war hawkish. Both are pro-Israel. Both are pro-law enforcement at the expense of civil liberties and rights. Both are pro-fascist and supportive of the surveillance state. Both are corrupt in dealing with lobby/interest groups, etc. I left because I am unequivocally confident and so sure of myself that the Democrats are too far gone, just like the Republicans. And if you have any doubt that the Democratic Party is not too far gone, look at the last 33 years of the Democratic Party with the election of Bill Clinton, and look at their future quote-unquote stars. Right now, the future quote-unquote stars of the Democratic Party are anything but stars. The names thrown out are Gavin Newsom, Josh Shapiro, Gretchen Whitmer, Pete Buttigieg, Cory Booker, Richie Torres, Wes Moore, Hakeem Jeffries, and yes, Kamala Harris again. They're the same robotic models from the same failed factory churning them out that the previous robotic models, i.e. Clinton, Obama, Harris, came from. They're center-right, third-way Democrats.
There is a robot in this formation that does not belong. Identify it.
One of us.
Which one?
One of us.
How much did you say these things cost?
Look, these NS5s haven't been configured yet. They're still just hardware. Basic 3 laws operating system, that's it. They don't know any better.
Well, what would you suggest?
This did not influence my decision to leave the party, but it's something that I observed more and more after leaving. The liberals of the party were identical to the conservatives of the Republican Party in many ways. The liberals, just like the conservatives, were tribalistic and cliquish. In the week after the election, liberals were expressing various grotesque Islamophobic, blackphobic, xenophobic, racist, and bigoted attitudes, blaming Muslims and black people for Kamala's garbage campaign and election loss. They were also more interested in winning politically at all costs, even if it meant compromising their morals, ethics, and/or values. They wanted Kamala to win just like Joe Biden before her. It didn't matter if either of them was for Israel's ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians, disregarded black Americans' concerns despite being the most loyal demographic to the party, or had the right economic policies. They just wanted to see their candidate win at all costs. I also saw the arrogance in liberals and their innate need to be correct. Again, this is not exclusive to just liberals. Conservatives are often arrogantly wrong in their beliefs and delusions, making things up in their heads and then verbally or in writing expressing them as fact to actual human beings with brains. I do have a call to action, and this one is relatively easy given how destructive both the Republicans and Democrats have been on the economy for the homeless, working poor, and working Americans. Stop financially supporting the Democratic Party. If there are progressive or leftist Democratic candidates who espouse the moral, ethical, and just positions that I talked about earlier, then it's completely acceptable to donate to their campaign directly, but do not finance the Democratic Party or other avenues of the Democratic Party like the Political Action Committees, PACs. These include the Democratic National Committee, DNC, Young Democrats, Center for American Progress, Act Blue, etc. To change the actions of these people, you have to dry up their sources of funding and revenue. Otherwise, they have little incentive to change. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I make videos on subjects very few people, if any, are talking about, including this topic. Also, if there's anything you disagree with me on, let me know in the comment section. I want to hear what you think, especially if you're a Democrat, liberal, progressive, or leftist in general. Let's talk about it further in the comment section.